long before the British arrived, before Nigeria existed, before colonial maps divided Africa. Powerful civilizations flourished in the forests of southeastern Nigeria. There were no towering stone castles, no giant pyramids. Yet, there were kingdoms whose influence stretched hundreds of miles through trade, religion, diplomacy, and innovation. Today, most of the world has never heard their names. This is the forgotten story of the lost kingdoms of Igboland. Dense rainforests covered the land. Great rivers connected villages. Markets bustled with traders. Blacksmiths forged iron. Priests interpreted divine messages. Artists cast bronze masterpieces that still amaze archaeologists today. Contrary to the old colonial myth that centralized kingdoms were the only measure of civilization, Igboland developed multiple forms of political organization. Some communities were highly decentralized, while others built influential ritual centers, commercial confederacies, or monarchies that connected many towns through religion, diplomacy, and trade. Among the earliest and most influential Igbo institutions was the Kingdom of Nri. Unlike many kingdoms around the world, Nri did not become powerful through conquest. Its rulers rarely led armies. Instead, they led through spiritual authority. The Eze Nri was regarded as a sacred leader whose influence spread through diplomacy, ritual, reconciliation, and shared traditions rather than military occupation. Communities voluntarily accepted aspects of Nri's ritual authority, creating a broad sphere of influence rather than a tightly controlled empire. Many historians describe Nri as one of Africa's most unusual pre-colonial political systems because of its emphasis on peace and ritual legitimacy. Igbo Ukwu, Africa's hidden bronze civilization. In the 1930s, workers digging a cistern in Igbo Ukwu uncovered one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in African history. They found intricately woven bronze vessels, ceremonial staffs, jewelry regalia, decorative works created using sophisticated lost wax casting techniques. These artifacts date to around the 9th century and demonstrate remarkable craftsmanship. Their discovery challenged long-held assumptions that advanced metalworking in sub-Saharan Africa depended on outside influence. Even today, specialists continue to study how such extraordinary artistry developed in southeastern Nigeria. The Aro Confederacy, the commercial empire. Centuries later, another powerful network emerged. The Aro Confederacy, centered in Arochukwu, it grew into one of the most influential commercial and political systems in southeastern Nigeria during the 17th to 19th centuries. Its strength came from several factors: long-distance trade, extensive merchant networks, religious influence centered on the Ebony Ukpabi oracle, alliances with neighboring communities. Rather than functioning as a single centralized empire, the Confederacy connected many communities through commerce, diplomacy, and shared institutions. It became one of the dominant regional powers until British military campaigns defeated it during the Anglo-Aro War of 1901 to 1902. Historical note: modern historians also discuss the Confederacy's involvement in the Atlantic slave trade, alongside its roles in regional commerce, politics, and religion. Presenting this complexity makes for a more balanced documentary. The Great Market Civilization. Long before modern highways, Igbo markets connected hundreds of towns. The famous 4-day market cycle Eke Orie Afo, unquote, helped organize trade, travel, and community life. People exchanged palm oil, salt, iron, tools, cloth, livestock, pottery, food, crops. These markets form the economic heartbeat of Igboland. Why these kingdoms were forgotten. When British colonial rule expanded into southeastern Nigeria around the turn of the 20th century, many indigenous institutions were dismantled or transformed. Colonial administrators often preferred centralized systems of the north and the southwest, while they described the decentralized societies of Igboland as lacking political organization. But they, perhaps, saw the Igbo system as a threat to their imperial tendencies. Modern historical research, however, paints a more nuanced picture, showing that Igboland contains sophisticated networks of governance, religion, commerce, and diplomacy that simply operated differently from European models. A conclusion that is at variance with the European claim of superiority. In closing, it is important to remember that history is not only written in stone castles. Sometimes it is preserved in bronze, sometimes in sacred forests, sometimes in language, sometimes in memory. The kingdoms of ancient Igboland may not have built pyramids, but they built ideas, trade, culture, art, and institutions that shaped millions of lives. Their story deserves to be remembered. Ala Igbo Amaka.